Hi, welcome to another video. Today I want to share about an inner voice that's different from the inner critic and that can shift the way you see yourself, your creative processes, and your life. It's something I discovered a while ago, but I clearly remember at least 2 times while traveling in nature. I was beating myself up for something, and while looking at the lake or at the sea, I mean there was like water and nature all around. I heard it. It was a soft voice inside my head telling me to slow down, be patient, and not be so hard on myself. And I said, wow, that's a different thought. It feels good. And again, it's not that I didn't had, kind thoughts for myself, but this felt different. It felt like something else, like a voice that's not exactly me thinking. It's something else that shows up like, hey, Julia, be kind to yourself. Be patient. It's okay. Love yourself. It's kind of like that energy. And I don't know if it was the voice of nature, of inspiration, of God, source, universe, or what, but it always guides me to love myself and take things easy as much as I can. Because we all know the inner critic. It's there almost every day with a cup of coffee, just waiting for us to start taking action or even thinking about, taking action. And it's waiting to start its, chat. It's going to say, that's bullshit, that's not enough, that's bad, that's so obvious, everybody does it better than you. It's kind of a mean voice. Nothing is good enough. Yeah, we all know that. We all creators know about that voice that lives rent-free inside of our heads. So what do we do when it gets louder? First, we understand that it's because we're getting closer to our goal. We're taking action. So this concept, the voice that I heard in nature, always helped me during the phases when this voice got louder and meaner. And I call it the inner medicine voice. It's a calm, gentle, loving voice that tells you not to be so hard on yourself. Sometimes I feel she's buried under the loudness of the inner critic. The calmer voice, it's softer. She's not screaming. And I think she's a she because it's like a very nurturing, maternal voice. She guides with kindness, encouraging us to give more space, more air, so we can breathe and our creations can be birthed into the world. It's always an insight that pushes me to stop being so hard on myself, to be patient, loving, and to trust that I can make progress without beating myself up. Sometimes it even sounds like a good friend who gives amazing advice and supports you in loving yourself. It's like a cheerleader. It's like someone that's there rooting for you. And it's guiding to, again, be patient, be kind, don't punish yourself, don't hate yourself, don't punish, don't beat yourself up. It's like, it's okay. It's like a soothing voice, right? And again, I share this with you because even though I can have my conscious thoughts be kind or gentle or loving with myself, when I hear this voice, I think it's like the exact opposite or like the medicine for the inner critic. It's another aspect maybe of our psyche, or I don't know, but it shows up and it's so gentle and so loving. And it's like, wow, I needed to hear that because I've been hearing the voice of my inner critic, and it really, sometimes it gets like very draining. And I don't want to fight with my inner critic. Sometimes I just, do a brain dump and I write down all of my thoughts so that the inner critic can just speak and move out of the way so I can create. But hearing this voice, it's something so beautiful, and sometimes I forget that this voice exists. Sometimes I get too caught up in my head, and for me it's always a nice reminder to go back to this inner medicine, healing voice, loving voice. So here are some tips on how to hear and cultivate your inner medicine voice, because we all have that voice, or we all have the ability to connect with that energy, voice, inspiration, insight. So the first one would be to connect with nature, engage in nature in any way you can. Just being in nature and contemplating its beauty and power can be incredibly refreshing for the mind and body. So if you've been working too much, just in the same place, it's good to move your body and to go, maybe it's a park where you can see the trees, or maybe you have a lake near your home, or any place that feels good to you and there's nature there, and you can maybe see some animals and some flowers, all of that. And for some people, they also do the practice of grounding, which is like taking off your shoes and put your feet on the grass, on the grass. And that alone can be so good for our nervous system regulation. And that allows us to quiet the mind a little bit, to quiet the inner critic, and to hear this other voice, this other frequency. Another tip would be just being in silence or practicing some form of meditation, because it's in those moments when we get quieter and quieter that we can hear this inner voice guiding us, right? You can practice silence if it feels good to you. It's just a moment of just observing how you are breathing, maybe putting one of your hands on your heart, breathing in and out, and just being in silence for a couple of minutes. And that could be enough to start attuning to this other medicine voice. Another tip would be that sometimes simply doing a repetitive chore and doing it mindfully, being fully present, that can create the space for inspiration to show up at any moment. I actually have a friend of mine who says that when she's washing the dishes, she gets really relaxed. Maybe it's because of the water that it's flowing, and those are the moments when she gets a lot of ideas and inspiration, and she feels like a flow of energy. Another tip could be singing, dancing, painting, and writing freely, and doing all of these things freely, because that can also be powerful moments of deep connection with this inner voice. When we have no specific structure and allow ourselves to flow with whatever comes up, and that's when the voice starts showing up more and more, allowing ourselves to just express. So if that quieter, wiser voice feels far away right now, you can start small. Give it a little room. A walk, a pause, a breath, a messy creative moment. Any crack in the noise is enough for it to sleep through. The more you let it speak, the more it shows up. And honestly, life gets a whole lot lighter when your inner medicine voice is part of the conversation. Again, this is a voice that would sound just like guiding you, and again, all the times that I hear it, it's this kind of same message, like love yourself, be patient, be kind, don't beat yourself up. Don't be so hard on yourself. And I say it with this tone, even if it sounds funny, because I truly heard it this way. It was this way. It was like, don't be so hard on yourself, honey. It's okay. It's very loving. It's very like a mother or like a grandmother or like an aunt, really being so nurturing, so loving, so caring, so like you feel like you finally can rest for a moment. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to beat yourself up. You can just be yourself, allow yourself to make mistakes and learn, and know that you're gonna reach your goals, but there's no need to beat yourself up during the process. So thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's a pleasure for me to share all of these things, and I really, really hope that you can tune in more and more with this voice. If you already listen to this inner voice, because maybe it's not that it's something external, probably it's ourselves, like the higher self or a higher aspect of our consciousness that is showing up through this voice. So we all have access to this voice. So I really, really hope you can hear it and it can be something that encourages you to keep going in a gentle way. So thank you so much. And remember to keep it simple, have fun, and stay inspired. Bye.